Imagine for a second, you're sitting on the subway in New York City. In your hands is the poem you just wrote. You're reading it over. When you look up, the doors are open and it's your stop. You put the poem down to grab your pack and you run out the door. It's only when you get off the train that you realize you left your poem on the seat. No need to worry, you have another copy of the poem on your computer at home. But the question is, does your poem pass the subway test?
Imagine somebody, anybody who might take your seat, picks up your poem and starts reading it. Does he or she read past the first line, past the first stanza, all the way to the end? Will your poem make this anonymous person on the subway care?
If you have doubts about a draft of a poem, you're not alone. I rarely get a poem right without a ton of drafts. As far as I'm concerned, drafts are a good thing, an excellent thing. They give me a chance to be even more creative, to keep exploring a subject until it's just the way I want it.
Revision is your superpower. Revision. It literally means to see again, to look at something again as if for the first time. When I revise my poems, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. When I'm writing, any idea is a good idea. But when I'm revising, nothing is good enough.
One way to activate your revision superpower is to read your poem out loud, because your ears will tell you things before your mind even understands them. If it's not a quick turnaround school assignment, put it in a drawer for a while, then take it out and read it again. Read your poem out loud as many times as you can take it. Listen for the rough spots. Listen especially for the dead spots.
Almost every draft has them. Too much explanation, too many facts, too many words. Words that have no life in them, no breath, no air, flat as a tire. Be bold, cut it. Poetry is about fresh language, quicksilver discoveries, and being concise. Make your poem move faster. Let it surprise your listener. Make it sing.
Or it could be that you need to revise the way you think when writing your poem. Maybe you overlook little sense details that will deliver your poem because you're after big themes or sweeping subjects.
Don't give up on big themes in your poetry. Poetry really wants them, but only through the small things, only through the particulars of experience through the five senses.
So don't set out to tell us about the glories of love. Tell us instead about the time you kissed your boyfriend so hard you broke your tooth. Don't tell us about the sorrow of death. Tell us exactly how someone you loved looked in their coffin. Remember Mark Twain. Don't say the old lady screamed. Bring her out and let her scream.
The question I always ask myself when revising a poem is about the poem's beginning, middle, and end. Is the beginning strong, or am I just clearing my throat? Does the beginning start further down the page? In the middle, am I too bloated? Is it going on and on? In the end, am I being too predictable, or is the end neat, as if tied up with a perfect bow?
Is there enough music in your poem? The best images you and I write are the ones packed with feeling and surprise. They always come to us as music. We not only write them, but we sing them.
Go back to those images and try to extend their music throughout the rest of the poem.
Here's another way to do it. Check out the examples of music and poetry on our website.
If you're writing free verse, take a second look at your line breaks. Or do you even have line breaks in your poem? Line breaks offer you a chance to emphasize certain words inside a line that would be buried in the line if you went on to a natural breath pause or a period. Our website features a list of tips that will help you learn how to break your lines.
If you're writing rap, make sure you have 4 distinct beats in each line, even if some have more words than others. Also, make sure you have rhyming couplets which firmly ground your lines. What you're really trying to do is combine exciting rhythms, surprising images, and musicality to engage with your audience.
You've got to get out there and do it. Live performance is the best way to hone in on your craft as a spoken word artist. Look up the examples that we've provided here so you can practice your own repertoire and techniques that work best for you. A cardinal rule in performing spoken word is do not over-dramatize your material. Focus on conveying the poem's interior meaning rather than an excess of body language.
Now it's time to share your poem with friends or classmates to hear what they think. You may not agree with everything that they say about your poem, but you should take it in and hear that and see how it changes how you understand your own poem.
In the meantime, we'll be right here by way of our videos, our guidelines, and our background information to cheer you on with every faith that through your inspiration, your craft, and your skills of revision, you can bring something new to poetry.